Maybe you already know you have trauma, or you suspect it. Maybe there's something in you that just doesn't feel right, and maybe for a long, long time, and you've been chasing happiness, you've been chasing feeling good, feeling better, and maybe you've tried that with relationships, with sex, with drugs, with alcohol, with partying, with traveling, with anything to make you feel alive again. Because there's something inside of you that feels dead, that feels empty, that feels heavy. So what if trauma is actually not just something that happened to you, some bad things and terrible things? Yes, but what if it's an anti-life energy? Something that disconnected you from your own life and your own life force energy. So maybe you've been trying to find that aliveness outside of yourself subconsciously. That was me. My whole life I've tried to not only distract myself from pain and feeling that heaviness, but somehow trying to find that spark of life outside of myself, in other people, in relationships, in men, also through drinking, smoking and partying, and then later traveling and exploring the world. And for the first time, probably since forever, I felt truly alive again. But the trauma wasn't healed. So I kept doing it. I kept chasing that aliveness in the next thing, in the next relationship or affair, the next party and the drinking and the everything else. And I was not just trying to cope or numb. I was trying to find that life again, that spark of aliveness, because my whole life I had the feeling that a dark cloud was following me around and I couldn't understand why. And I think that dark cloud is more than just trauma. I think it is what I call anti-life energy. It's the opposite of that natural spark of aliveness. So trauma is not just pain and all the coping mechanisms and the survival strategies and everything that, all these consequences. I think trauma is something that really disconnects us and interrupts our natural flow of life, our own spark of aliveness within ourselves. So we spend our lives chasing that aliveness elsewhere outside of ourselves, in other people, in sex, in drugs, in alcohol, in social media, in validation, in traveling, in everything. Anything that just makes us feel alive again for a moment. But the problem is when you look for that outside of yourself, it never lasts long. It's borrowed. It doesn't come from within yourself. Because usually we have a natural current of life running through us if there is no trauma. Usually there is an ascending life force that comes from Mother Earth that runs through our lower chakras all the way into our heart. It's all about our natural life force energy, and if that is interrupted, if that is blocked through trauma, especially in the first years of our life, it interrupts that stream at the very, very beginning. It's like you build a dam at the very source of a river, so that the river cannot flow. It just trickles because it's blocked. So that stream of life does not even go up, it does not even reach our other centers. The second one is all about aliveness, it's all about joy, it's all about creativity, it's about pleasure, it's also about sexuality. It's that, all that is that how life expresses itself naturally through us and in us. And if there is a blockage because of trauma, it cannot flow. That other stream is a descending one. It comes from source, it comes from God, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your soul. And there might be a blockage too. You might be, because of trauma, because of the world around you, the conditioning, you might be disconnected from your own higher truth, from your own higher guidance. And it makes it very, very hard to follow your heart, to follow your guidance, to follow the calling of your soul. So there might be several blocks going on of life, of aliveness within you. So if trauma happens early in life, it blocks you right at the very source of everything, and that current of life cannot flow. You're stuck in survival mode. You're stuck in maybe safety and security, fears and anxiety and money and belonging and all of that. So it becomes about surviving instead of truly living, merely existing, getting by, struggling, trying to make ends meet. And we forget all about that life is also joy, is connection, is creativity, is expression. And over time we get completely disconnected from it, what makes life worth living. And of course, because our trauma causes a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. Because usually as children, we naturally have, and maybe we had until trauma happened, we had a natural spark of life. We had desires. In children, usually that life force expresses itself through desires, like I want that. This feels nice, this feels good, I want to do this. And then maybe some trauma happened, and that desire, that life force was not only interrupted, but maybe there was conditioning going on. Maybe within your family or within your family system, there was no room for things like joy and creativity. Maybe you were not even allowed to have desires and needs and wishes. Maybe you were not even allowed to say, I want. Maybe you were not met in these needs. Like for example, my own, there were a lot of different patterns, but I internalized my parents' voices. My mother was completely full of fear and worry and anxiety, and she tried to train me the same way, to be very, very afraid of the world out there. She wanted me to keep with her so I would not leave her. But I took on, even though I fought it consciously, but subconsciously I took on fear. Fear of anything, fear of doing something, fear of the unknown, fear of the new, fear of the world out there. Although naturally I was very curious. And I was full of life, and I was full of adventure and an urge for freedom. But eventually I took her voice on, I internalized it, and I also internalized my father's voice. He was very strict, and he didn't really allow me much or anything at all, and I always had to plead. Like I almost had to plead my case, like I was in a courtroom and in front of a very strict judge. And I had to defend and present my case. Like everyone else is allowed and everyone else goes to the party, and why can't I, and this and that. And I had to argue and I had to plead and I had to justify my desire and what I wanted. And so later, and just recently, I realized that I'm doing that now that my energy rises again, because I healed all these deep traumas, especially around the first chakra, the survival center. It rises again. And now, every time I feel a very small, little nudge of something, like, oh, these are nice earrings, maybe I kind of want them. then immediately the voice starts again like, oh no, but they're too expensive for what they are, and you should spend the money for something else. And like all these arguments come in, or I feel the very slight nudge to go somewhere. I take my scooter and I just drive somewhere, and I do a day trip, and then immediately the fearful voice of my mother comes like, oh, but that is dangerous, and what if the roads are bad, and what if it starts raining, and what if something bad happens? And it immediately, I have both. I have these both sabotaging voices from my parents in my head that crush the desire and like nip it in the bud. Because desire does not come back, and with it joy, expression, creativity, it doesn't come back like as a loud big thing. It comes back as something very, very small. Maybe a very small, maybe I like that. Oh, maybe that would be nice. But we learn how to crush our desires, and therefore our life force, our creativity, our joy, our expression. So for a long, long time, I thought I had an inability to feel joy. So again, I was chasing happiness everywhere else. I thought I had a creativity block. I could also not really feel pleasure and allow myself to, I don't know, to treat myself, to do nice things for myself. Because as soon as there was something good, a little tiny nudge of something, I would nip it in the bud. And that was the pattern that I learned. But more than that, if life force gets interrupted at the very source, again, it cannot rise. And therefore, things like joy and creativity and desire and I want, and that becomes the first casualty. It just disappears. So healing and healing trauma is not really about fixing ourselves, about becoming someone better or someone new. Healing is about removing everything that we're not. It's about shedding these layers and layers and layers of conditioning, of fear, of survival, of the internalized voices of your parents and of society and of the world around us. It's about acknowledging and healing and releasing all these patterns and coping mechanisms and emotions that we once pushed away, that were exiled. So healing is about restoring the flow. It's about removing that dam that was once built right at the source of everything, so that the life force can rise again, so that life can start flowing again. And along the way, then all that will start to rise again within you. You will start to reconnect with your joy, with your creativity, with your desires. You will learn how to allow yourself to say yes again to your desires, and therefore yes to life. And life will start to feel better again. It's about reconnecting also with your soul stream, with your higher self, with your higher wisdom. You will start to know what your soul wants for you in this life. Maybe your calling, your purpose, your mission, how the divine, how the universe, how that life wants to express itself through you, uniquely through you. And that is also closely connected to your inner child, because your inner child is the one that is the pure, innocent part in you, the one that never lost its connection to source, to God, to the universe, to joy, to magic and awe and wonder. That part in you is still there. Yes, there is maybe fragmentation because of trauma. Maybe that inner child is somewhat exiled. Maybe there is many layers of pain, suffering, and coping mechanisms around it. But I promise you that child is still there. It was never gone. Condition buried it. Survival protected it. Trauma covered it up, but it never destroyed it. And you can find it again. You can reconnect with it again. You can become whole again. But only if you become aware of something. I think that might be true for many of us. It was certainly true for me. At some point very, very early in life, and maybe even earlier than that. That was true for me. You made a choice. You made a fateful choice because of that pain and suffering and trauma, and maybe you already came to this life with an imprint of it from before. And that imprint said, I don't want to be here. And maybe as a child, bad things happened, and then you repeated that choice, where maybe you made it for the first time. Because this is bad, this feels terrible, I hate it here. So maybe the consequence was, I don't want to be here. And that is an anti-life choice. Because you were here. You were already here and you're still here. God, thank God you are. But that choice is still there. And it disconnected you more than anything from that life that you are, from that spark of aliveness that you are. So something inside of yourself resists living, resists being here in this world and in this body. And even if you're a complete mess right now and your life is a complete mess, then please know you're not broken. I mean, I get it. I was a complete mess. My life was a complete mess and I'm still not like there yet. But I've gone so deep in the deepest and darkest layers that I could during my healing journey. I uncovered like everything, not just trauma from this life, like everything you can imagine. So even if you're a complete mess right now and your life is a mess, you're not broken. Trauma did not destroy that pure flame within you. It just covered it up. And all of your patterns, coping mechanisms, survival strategies, and so on covered it up, but it's not dead. It's still there. Yes, trauma happened. It shaped you. It shaped your trajectory of your life. It shaped your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, everything, all your relationships, your circumstances in life, everything. Yes, that did happen. But it's not who you are. It's not. You are a pure, beautiful light, full of joy, full of aliveness, very, very deep down. And there is an innocent, pure child in you that is still full of awe and wonder and curiosity and desires for this life. And it's all still there waiting to be uncovered. Nothing can destroy that part. And I know because I had pretty much everything that you can have in terms of layers and layers of trauma, stack of trauma, pile of trauma, and not just from this life and childhood, but like anything, past life, ancestral, intergenerational, everything. I went as deep as I possibly could for so many years in the deepest, darkest corners of my being. And I still thought I had to fix myself. There was something wrong with me and I'm broken and I have to fix myself. But I uncovered that all of that stuff, that was not really me. It was not really mine. a lot of it was actually something that I absorbed. Not because there's something wrong with me, on the opposite, because out of love, out of unconditional love, I chose to come to this family, into these bloodlines, into this life as me, to take it all on and to transmute it and to heal it, and not just for myself, for everyone around me and everyone who comes before me and everyone who comes after me. So if you think there's something wrong with you, then please think again. Because maybe you are an absolute bright soul with a huge, huge heart, with so much love in your heart, that on some level you chose to experience all that out of love. And now it's time to find that love again within your heart, but for yourself. And I do believe that we are all like these perfect, beautiful, sparkling diamonds. We all were that once. And then stuff happened, the world happened, trauma happened, and it's like they were throwing mud and dirt on this diamond until the diamond started to be covered in dirt. And then layers and layers and layers and layers were added over time, and it became completely encrusted. And eventually we forgot we are that diamond, we are that beautiful shining light. And we thought we were this blob of gunk. And we're not. There is a beautiful sparkling diamond in the core. And that is who you are. And that is what healing is. It's shedding these layers of dirt and mud that are not yours, that the world has put and projected on you, and that you subconsciously put on yourself to survive, to cope, to somehow make it through. So I think that's the biggest lie that we believe. Or maybe some people told you you're broken, and you think yourself you're broken, you need to be fixed, or a therapist told you that, or whatever. But it's not true. It's not true. You are not broken, even if it looks like it, even if you feel like it. You are still whole. Deep down, there is still that pure core. There is that flame. There is that spark of aliveness. There is that sparkling, beautiful diamond. And healing is about shedding the layers, cleaning out what's not yours, and reconnecting with that and rediscovering that, which you already are. So you can make a choice. And I don't want to say that it doesn't matter, like the trauma that happened to you, the pain, the suffering, and then whatever terrible situation you're in right now, that it doesn't matter. It totally does. And trust me, I really know. But there comes a point when it's not anymore about always trying to become better, and I need to do the next healing thing, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. It's more about making a choice. Look at that subconscious choice that you might have once made about, I don't want to be here. And choose life. Choose life. Even if it is hard, even if there is pain and suffering. I get it. But you are here. And life is not just pain and suffering. There is also beauty. There is also joy. There is genuine, beautiful connections with people. Maybe you just haven't met them yet. There's a whole world out there. There is so much to see and to explore. There is freedom and adventure, and you can have a good life, and you can feel joy again, and you can be okay again. I promise you that, because I've done it and I've been through so much. And it's not even that long ago that I was still crying in my bed myself to sleep. But I know, therefore, that things can change again, and I know that you can make the choice to choose yourself, to choose your wholeness, and to choose life again, and to rediscover that spark of aliveness within you, and to rediscover and reintegrate that child in you that represents all that, that feels all the joy and awe and wonder and curiosity for life. So you can choose right now to release that old choice. I don't want to be here, and say yes, yes, I say yes to life. I say yes to being here. A wholehearted yes. And yes, with that comes that you will need to feel everything that you didn't want to feel. All these old things will start to come up. You will need to work through your traumas. You will need to feel all that. You will need to learn how to love yourself, how to love that inner child and make that inner child feel safe within yourself. You will need to make better choices for yourself and for your life. Maybe leave something, leave a bad relationship, a job, a place, whatever. But it's worth it. Life is worth it. It's never too late. You're not too old. You're not too old, and it's not too late. There's so much beauty and life and joy out there waiting for you. And more than anything, it's inside of you. And you can do all that while you live your life. Don't make the same mistake that I did, that I thought I had to first heal everything perfectly and then I can do something, then I can live, then I can put myself out there and start my purpose, then I can be happy. No, this is a part of your life. Trauma and its consequences were a part of your life. Now make your healing process part of your life. And don't think that you cannot have some fun and some joy while you're healing, while you're doing all that. No, life can happen along the way. I mean, I left my old life and all of that stuff behind 15 years ago. I started traveling, and that changed the trajectory of my life completely. So many things happened. They were absolutely life-changing. My mind, my heart, everything was just blown open. And while I wouldn't recommend to go traveling on your own while you're completely dysregulated, your nervous system is completely dysregulated like I had it and I didn't know anything, it was really, really also very hard. But I would encourage you to follow your dreams, to reconnect with the wisdom in your heart, to ask your heart and your soul, what do you want for me? What feels good? What feels right? What fills me with joy, with excitement, with hope? You can absolutely start that now. You don't just have to do the inner child healing and the emotional healing and the this and the that and crying and yes, that is part of the healing process, but life is still happening. Life, just live your life as best as you can and allow yourself to have some fun and some joy along the way. So choose life now. Choose freedom. Choose joy. Choose wholeness. Choose aliveness, choose peace, choose whatever feels right to you. And the moment you make that choice, the universe will support you. It will send you help and support along the way. It will open new doors for you. Yes, old stuff will maybe fall away from your life. Maybe old relationships, people, situations, things, jobs, whatever that is not aligned anymore with who you are now and who you're becoming, and there's loss involved, there's grieving involved, there are goodbyes involved, but it's worth it. Just choose yourself, choose your life, choose what makes you feel alive, choose aliveness again, and let that energy rise naturally within you. When you heal yourself, when you release these old things, these old blockages, your energy will naturally rise again. That life force will rise again, up, and from down you reconnect with your soul, with your higher self, with your intuition. you will become basically an open channel, a bridge between heaven and earth, and life suddenly starts to open up again. New opportunities, new, more supportive, loving, nourishing relationships. All of that stuff is possible for you. I know it because I've been through it, and it just starts happening for me now. And I walked through the valley of shadow and tears for a long, long, long time. But also, not only, I also had unbelievable, amazing experiences. And you can have that too. So say yes. Yes to life. Yes to yourself. Yes to being here. And let life move through you again. And let life show you that it's not just all dark and pain and suffering. There is also light. There is also goodness. That it's also, trauma makes us think that it's all bad and like that dark cloud that followed me around my whole life, and that makes us see through glasses that are tinted gray or dark. But you can't put that down. Healing helps you to put that down, and you will start to see that there is also goodness out there. And then you will start to attract the good stuff too. And so anyway, that's it, my friends. I hope that, I don't know who needed to hear this, but I hope it helped you a little and you can take something from it. And I wish you so much love and all the best and so much strength on your healing journey. And I believe in you. You can do this. If you're watching this video until now, I know that you have it in you. I see that beautiful part in you, that pure, beautiful, innocent child, that pure flame, that pure diamond. It is all still there. And I see you. And I send you so much love and have a great day. Bye-bye.